Hello guys, welcome to another video. Well, before I'm gonna start with my video review about the Asus Memo Pad 10, I just wanna apologize because, there we go. There are some more cracks in the display now. I don't know if you can see that, but there's one crack here, and one crack here. Well, I just took off the bag because the screen wasn't working, and the screen fully works now, but I pushed a little too hard here. I mean, didn't push that hard at all. And crack. So yeah, I might buy a new disk starter for this. Anyway, let's get on to the video review. So here is the brand new Asus MemoPad 10. It is a very nice 10.1-inch tablet that it will be mostly probably used for films, YouTube videos such as mine. And it has a ton of nice features to them. Let's take a look around the device. On the top, we found the really nice tactile power button, and we really liked it. Next up is the external microphone, which I haven't tested the audio quality of. On the other side is the headphone jack and a SD card reader. On the bottom, there's nothing, and on this side we have the volume buttons, which are also nice and tactile, and the MedHacks micro USB port, because yeah, we just had to do it, man. I've custom chargers for this thing. This thing has a pushed in charging port, and otherwise you have to solder it. So yeah. Oh, my poor boy. On the back we found your two stereo speakers, which sound pretty good. They have enough bass, they have a lot of mids, although the highs are pretty harsh and they're kinda tinny. So yeah, but they do have a lot of punch to them. They're not that bad. The pretty big Asus logo and the really sucky 2 megapixel camera, which we'll get to later. Here it just says that you don't have to throw it in the bin because it's unbreakable. It says the 5.2 volt voltage, which is a 7-watt charger. And yes, you get that charger with you. You get a 7-watt charger. It says Asus Tech Computer, etc. etc. Let's turn on the device. Let's turn on the device. And while it's booting, I will show you the specs. On the front, we have a 0.3 megapixel camera. On the back, we have a 2 megapixel camera, and they say quite an interesting thing about these speakers. They say that these speakers won a Grammy Award eventually, so we'll test them out later. We'll definitely test them out. We'll see if they're actually worth that Grammy Award thing. They do have a lot of punch to them, and they have a lot of excursion. When I took off the back, I tested them, and they have a lot of excursion. They're like so big. They're like little round boys, I guess. So, in terms of software, we have the Asus skin over it. We have Android for the tool Jelly Bean, I think. It's definitely Jelly Bean, but I don't know the full version of that. It's fully up to date. It has 16 gigs of storage and a gig of RAM. There's also 8 gigabyte of storage version, but consider the small amount of storage that's actually available on this device. People who actually bought the 8 gig model are probably suffering it right now. Okay, that was quite a good joke, to be honest. That 1 gig of RAM is very sweet on Android Jelly Bean, because we've never seen a device on such a low Android version with such a nice amount of RAM. The pricing goes either from $190 to all the way up to $250, which is quite good, and it runs Android 4.2.2. There's also an Intel model of this device, which we can judge of because we have never seen that one. It has UI on top of it, which is also quite a nice feature. So let's take a look at the cameras. We really liked the features of the camera. For example, when you go to settings, you have a lot of settings. You have white balance settings. You can set them to cloudy, sunny, whatever. You have a ISO switch, which is quite surprising that it only goes to 200 ISO. I mean, a normal high-end camera that costs like $1,000 will will go up to 1200 ISO, which is really, really high. I mean, there are like devices out there now that have like, I don't know, 1400, 2000 ISO. I mean, the Galaxy S5, for example, we've took a look at that device later. Sorry that I'm reviewing this tablet so late, though. That one had like, it can go up to 1000 ISO. So seeing 200 ISO is quite crazy. That is quite a low amount, but it does have an auto setting, and we haven't seen that in quite a while, to be honest. We do have a light switch, lighting modes, which you have to use quite a lot because the stock mode is very, very dark in our opinion. So we'll set it to +1, just for the sake of it. What did you just do there? Well, I tried turning up the display brightness. So let's talk about the display then. It is a 1280 by 800 display, and it looks very, very clear. Colors are really, really nice, but the TN filter is quite big, and the LCD is quite visible. So when you turn it up on max, which you'll probably have to do, it is not that bright. Just to give you a comparison, it's like as bright as that sunlight. It is totally usable in the current use case I am in right now. Colors really pop. The color reproduction is great. I mean, it doesn't stand up against a AMOLED screen. Let's be honest. I mean, my current tablet has an AMOLED screen, and comparing this to that is like day and night. But come on, man, give a little give a little respect for a TFT display. It looks as good as an IPS. I don't know what Asus did here, but for an TFT display, it is very great. And I actually thought it was an IPS at first. Also, the display brightness is very, very smooth. We've seen some really laggy ones right here, but you do have to turn it up quite a lot. Also, in this notification shade, we found a settings button, a Wi-Fi button, a audio wizard, and yes, we'll take a look at the cameras later. That goes for energy saving. I don't know why there's an energy saving feature on there. I personally found the games and the film one have the most bass and just sound the best in particular. Does have icons that you can move around, which even the Galaxy S5 and other Samsung tablets don't have. So I absolutely love this function, and I really hope Asus brings it up. I mean, Asus is gonna go to ZenUI 6. This is running ZenUI 4. So I don't really know if they're gonna put this in the Lollipop update, but I know in the KitKat version it looks a little different, but it is definitely there. So let's get back to those cameras. This one is a 2 megapixel banger. HDR. It does have HDR, which is quite surprising, as you can see, 2 megapixels. It also has a camcorder, which is quite surprisingly, it can film up to 720p, which is really surprising. We thought it was gonna be at a sucky 480p, but for 720p, this is not an ISO cell camera or anything like that, so that's also the reason why ISO is so ridiculously low. It's a generic camera that takes quite washed out pictures, even when cleaning the lens. It is very blurry at sometimes, and sometimes it just doesn't look that good. Zooming is great though. We really like that. Although lighting is quite bad, and the video resolution isn't really holding up to other 720p cameras. Oh, and there I yeeted it over. So we have HDR turned on. Let's take a picture. Also, we thought that the picture quality is pretty darn washed out, but it does look acceptable. I mean, at this price range, we've seen 5 megapixel cams, but nah, I think it's just acceptable. I mean, don't expect any DSLR images from this thing. But it does tend to look alright. We'll get to the main hassle in a minute. You can zoom in on that big display, which is quite nice. And it should just look alright. I mean, you aren't gonna use this thing for video recordings and all that. Even of this Apple cake and all that. It does look reasonable, let's be honest. So yeah, the camera on the back is passable, but the camera on the front is kind of horrendous, and I'm gonna record a video on the back real quick, so I'll be back. Okay, everything that I actually want to say now is in this video, so enjoy, and also enjoy the mic quality, because I don't expect the mic to be sounding good. Hello, this is a quite a choppy looking video A00F. I don't know how the mic sounds. There's a little bit of zoom for you right there. It's not the 11th of March. I mean, it does look quite bad. Although a really surprising thing, you can actually take pictures while you're recording. That is really surprising, and it takes those pictures while recording really fast. So that's a really nice touch. Wow, that is a really nice touch. I haven't seen that on a tablet for a while. I mean, the only tablet that is laying right here is the Galaxy Tab S, which is my main tablet. I mean, even a older Galaxy Tab A that we took a look at earlier, that thing doesn't even have that feature on KitKat. So that is very surprising that Asus did that. We do have a lens flare effect because the ISO is ridiculously low, although it's on auto. It does look alright, you can see the cats everywhere. And I guess it's just reasonable. I mean, don't expect any ridiculously high resolution images or videos either. But in terms of video quality, it is passable. This is passable. It's not the best and it's not that great either, but I'd say it's quite passable, to be honest. And yeah, I guess I underrated that mic a lot. That mic actually sounds pretty darn good. I mean, that sounds freaking good. And that is a picture that I took. And where's the picture that oh, there we go. Yeah, that's that horrendous picture that I took. Though I am horrendous at selfies, so don't blame me. But I'm gonna test that's VGA goodness of that amazing front-facing camera. Yeah, I'm quite surprised about this one. Uh, yeah, I didn't. I'm really bad looking at cameras. I'm gonna keep this one for context. This one is quite funny. I think I took this one doing it the portrait way. Why is there? Whoa. Oh, no, this one is in landscape, and the other ones are in portrait, which is definitely a more other one. I'll delete all of these. Okay, and here's the quite surprisingly good audio quality. I'll delete this one. That's quite a good video. Asus RealPad 10. I don't really know what the resolution is. I think it's 480p. I highly doubt it's higher than that. It looks quite good. I mean, it looks better than I expected. But low light performance is so poor that I am just not gonna use it for anything. I mean, I tried using it for one video for a Nokia E50. A Nokia E50, I think it's called. Maybe an E5. I don't know. I did a Nokia review anyways with using this camera, and it just wasn't that good. I mean, I thought, I mean, if my Tab S is might do 1080p video recording. I mean, this looks alright. I mean, fun fact: I actually did my face reveal on the front-facing camera, which is 2.1 megapixel, on my lovely Tab S. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. Apart from the very bad dynamic range. Oh, come on. Although the dynamic range, yeah. And another touch, you can take pictures while doing a recording, which is, I mean, that is, I don't know how they've done that, but that is a really nice feature. And yes, you can take pictures again while recording, which is a really nice feature. Uh, Another feature is the very great 5000 mAh battery, which Asus is being proud of. It also has that gig of RAM, which is also quite great. Let's go to the gallery, which is just a stock. No, oh, never mind. It does have these video shorts, and no, that is not my dog. I swear to God. Let's just delete all of these, to be honest. Pictures. These screenshots are so old. They're literally from when I was 4 years old. Oh yeah, good boy. This tablet has come a long way. When I was 4 years old, this was my main lad. Can't believe I freaking reset it. Oh my god, I'm such. Why did I reset this thing? Okay, and let's not talk about that. Talking about browsing the internet, which a lot of people do, on their tablet. This thing is quite good for that. I mean, multitasking experience is great. Let's go to GSM Arena, for example. And loads up very fast. I mean, really fast. I mean, it is gonna be a little laggy. We really like this really big scroll bar. Images are gonna load up a little slower, but we haven't had any resolution issues like older Android phones have the wrong resolution sometimes. But no, image quality is just good on web browsers. There's nothing missed with it. It could obviously use an optional other browser if you want. So yeah, that's also great. The clock widget is just a standard Android one with a very nice app. Oh wow, that's a really futuristic looking app. Wow. I really hope they're using it any lollipop. I don't know if this device is gonna get any lollipop update. But let's just get to the other main specs. Let's go into CPU and C. Yes, I am gonna keep apps open in the RAM, which I don't usually do, so it's gonna get a little laggier. This is a Rockchip RK101 processor running at 106 gigahertz, but it's the older Cortex A9 um, architecture, which gets a lot of memes sometimes because it's being slow sometimes. And I'm just gonna close up all those apps because it's getting really, really laggy. Man, why do people keep their apps open all the time? It's making their phones laggy. And see, way lower CPU usage now. So close your apps, guys. Come on. Just a standard Mali 400 MP. Asus MemoPad Smart 10. The hardware is RK101. It is a 10.1 inch screen and it has a very low DPI of, or PPI as most smart people call it, of 149. So yeah, 480 grams. I mean, this thing is quite weighty, but it's like 300 grams or something, I suppose. Not a lot of RAM free, but yeah, I guess it's alright. System is Android 4.2.2, and it has the older Delphic. Battery is good. It's a 5070 milliamp hour battery, and it's a Lion one. No thermal. I mean, the device does get a little warm, but not too shabby. In terms of gaming, it was quite good. Let's go to Turbo Dismount, for example. Loading times are gonna be very slow though, but it's not that horrendous, or whatever you want to call it. But one thing I just want to notice, when I give out of you, this thing does not support World of Tanks anymore, which is the reason why I resetted this thing. I want to play World of Tanks with it, but that piece of shit app just doesn't support it anymore, which is really really annoying. Cause oh my god, restored this thing for no reason at all. I mean, I could have kept all my memories in this thing, but I did not. There was about 500 megabytes of storage left, which hasn't got any better. I mean, there's like 2 gigs, 3 gigs available now, so still not a lot of storage. Let's do a little bit of a speaker test. I mean, I don't know why they call this award-winning speakers. I mean, the speakers sound alright. Don't get me wrong; they don't sound bad, but they don't sound like they could have got an award or anything. Gaming is alright on this thing though. It's not too shabby, not too slow. It's quite responsive. But yeah, sometimes with bigger maps, it does get a little choppy, like on this Turbo Dismount map. Yes, it does do a little bit of a lag shot there. But it's totally playable. I mean, the word unplayable, you can't really find that. Mobile Legends doesn't is not able to run on this device, which is quite sad. It just got stuck on the loading screen, which is fairly normal. I mean, I've had a lot of phones do that. I've had phones that are 3 years newer than this had that. So that's not fully the tablet's fault. That could be just the stupid app's fault. Let's do a little bit of a RAM cleanup here, and I will tell you why World of Tanks doesn't work. Well, it's because the Android version is too low. But I don't recommend you putting Lineage OS on this thing either, because support is that freaking low. So yeah, let's go to the Play Store. Oh wow, that didn't. Oh wow, that didn't load up that slow either. Wow. Okay, so let's search for a casual game like a card game, and let's just see how good that plays. Also, we really love that keyboard. It has a ton of autocorrect features, and it has a smiley button. It has everything you need, and it has a really really nice background to it. Let's install this app. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna launch the web browser for a YouTube video because the other YouTube is too old to launch, and I'm not gonna update it because storage, my friends, storage. Fast loads up YouTube. While it's downloading an app, I'm not logged in at the moment. Nah, it loads up fine, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. How about you guys, but I'm gonna download Opera Mini because it just doesn't wanna load a YouTube video. Point out the Wi-Fi is quite fast on this device, apart from it not having 5 GHz Wi-Fi. So how usable is this tablet in 2021? Well, not that usable, to be honest. It is quite slow. A lot of hiccups and a lot of crashes. Speakers, oh my god, it has been a lot of time. This is no copyright, by the way. Oh, that, wow. They do get very loud. Yet they're both doing stuff, they're not fake. They don't have that much bass to them though. Oh, that sounds really bad with the power saving mode. Ah! The gaming mode is the clearest and has the most stereo separation. The speech mode has the most bass. And the music one just sounds the best for music. So yeah. It does sound pretty darn good. I don't know about award winning. But yeah, I guess if you have lost your Bluetooth speaker or something, I guess you could use it. Oh my god, last off, you don't want to know how much work this video has been. Oh great, it hasn't even installed the app, so that's nice, we can do a gaming test. Well, you've already saw the game runs. Apart from battery life, it has drained quite a bit, but it was half charged and I left it on for a week or something, so battery life is really good in terms of standby. This is the only spot where it gets warm, but it hasn't got that warm yet. Even with the back off, it does get quite a bit warm, but I mean, not crazily. It is definitely a good tablet. I mean, the 1 gig of RAM is super slow. I mean, it's DDR2, which is our main complaint. The cameras are quite bad. The RAM is not holding up well anymore because it's really slow DDR2. I mean, for comparison, this one is DDR4X, and that is already getting kind of bit slow. CPU is kind of struggling sometimes, and I should not leave too many apps open because, yeah. So anyways, guys, that was the full review of the Asus MemoPad 10, and see you later.